Next, time spent, fish section. Okay, smelly, stinky bones, far more complicated in some ways. Again, we used to get whole fish in, bass, brill, turbots, lemon soles, whole Dover soles, which were a big thing in those days, getting the whole thing served. And again, a lot of self-service from the waiters. You had to, but fish was tough because, not tough, but it was difficult because you had to cook it precisely to a stage. You couldn't just chuck it in the oven and hold underneath the grill. In those days, salamanders were the thing. Everybody loved a good old salamander for God knows reasons. But yeah, so copper pan, you know, you put your butter in the bottom, pile of shallots, your rolled up lemon sole, bit of stock, bit of white wine, and what was called a cartouche, again, French, a disc of greaseproof paper with some butter on it, or the intelligent thing was use butter papers, or some chefs decided to use lids, but chefs didn't like lids because they rattled and made a noise and you had to put them somewhere, and etc. So it was very much getting the fish cooked to the precise cuisson, which was the stage that the fish needed cooking, was quite an art to be able to take it out of the pan when it was kind of nearly cooked, and then reduce the sauce right down, finish it with double cream, season it, Monte au beurre, always Monte au beurre, and getting that thing out. And then, of course, you'd forgot the bloody florons, which was a kind of the hot crest-shaped little bits of warm puff pastry with a nice little design that had to be perfectly egg yolked. And you chop parsley. Your chopped parsley had to be picked, discard the stalks and do it fresh every single day. And then you used to wash it and put it within muslin cloth. And then you used to have to wash it again through the cloth and then wring it out. And then, chop, 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 chop. And chef would come along and look at this and say, yes, a bit more, please, thank you. And you'd be thinking, my God, this bloody man. But it was all about learning. It was all about understanding. And you couldn't really beat working for a master. But the pressure, it was again and again and again. Don't forget my stories about cooking the fish and the pan on the stove and everything else. You might have another 17 or 18 dishes to do, and you'd have pans everywhere. And sometimes there'd be two of you on the go. So you kind of learned to really sort your shit out. And if you didn't, you used to, there'd be a complaint or an issue. And the waiters in those days, they were mainly Turkish. Now, they obviously looked at little Johnny, not that I was ever called Johnny, and they thought it was rather amusing to teach me how to speak Turkish. So it was the usual kind of bir, iki, üç, de, yalti, yedi. I think that was something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which they and then they used to shout the table numbers out in Turkish, much to my amusement. And then they used to teach me some other words, which were, I thought for a number of weeks that it was hello and good morning. Well, these Turkish words I found out originally weren't hello, good morning. It was so-and-so off, or please go away at speed. Anyhow, I then taught them equally as bad English words, which I completely and utterly invented, which kept those guys at bay. But I remember Roy once, he put an oven cloth around my eyes so I couldn't see, and then spanned me around and said, right, on your section, tell me where the party should be. Show me where the salt box should be. Where is the tray? Where is the pan? Where is the whisk? Where is the spoon? Where is the butter? The butter, So you actually learned that every single thing had a home in the place and everything went back in that place. So no matter who was on the section, you could really begin to get speed up, which was all really important. So I then had my eyes on a Yamaha RD400. Unfortunately, my father began to persuade me that 2-strokes were bad and they were smelly, and look at a 4-stroke Z400 Kawasaki. Anyhow, but I always had time to look at the pretty receptionist, which was also probably as important, if not more so, than the motorcycles, or indeed the lemon sole.